You are watching Area DMG.
Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Will Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and today we're going to talk about upgrading. Or rather, how you should probably get rid of these little things, and what you should replace them with. Now, the Nintendo Switch has a lot of different control options. You have the JoyCons, you have the Pro Controller, you have third-party controllers like the 8-bit Do controllers and the upcoming Hori controllers. You have the Pokken controller, which will work at Pokken Tournament, and then you have, well, a lot of little third-party straps and designs and stuff to help you take care of the basic function of the system, which is these Joy-Cons. These are your basic controls. You can play them like this. You can attach them to the system, play them. In games like ARMS, you hold them this way. You can hold them this way for some stuff. But these are not the most comfortable controllers, are they? They're kind of tiny, and you kind of need something for them. Now, Nintendo does offer a solution. Every Nintendo Switch comes with one of these. And this JoyCon grip allows you to slide them in and play it like this. However, you can't charge them on that, and while they do have a really good battery life of about 20 hours, there are times where you may want to keep them in storage, or if you have different Joy-Cons on there, so you might need something to charge them with. I actually recommend, if you're not too attached to this, or if you don't have extra controllers, it might be worth trading this in to pick up one of these. This is the charging controller. The difference, of course, being that it's it's clear. And it, of course, also allows you to charge your Joy-Cons while they're attached to it, which is a pretty neat little trick, especially if you have extra Joy-Cons that are not attached to your Switch. It's a good way to keep those charged, or just keep playing forever, pretty much. Now, to offset the price of it, I do actually recommend, like, if you have one of these, or you have other stuff, you do trading credits or whatnot, I actually recommend that. Now, if you're going to go ahead and be serious about pro controlling, or rather being a professional player at this, you are of course going to want to pick up a Pro Controller. But if those aren't an option, this is still a viable option, and you can also charge it from there. If you're like me and you have multiple Joy-Cons and you have ones that are not attached to the Switch all the time, this is a good way to attach them and charge them. Also, it comes with an extra USB-C cord, so I have a ton of those just wandering the house now, Nintendo branded ones, which is great actually, because my phone uses them too. But let's get back to the Joy-Cons at hand. I mean, there are those, and if you're a fan of Mario Kart, Nintendo makes these little things. You line them up with like plus to plus, and minus to minus, and with Mario Kart they add extra large things here, and they're actually a little bit easier to grip when playing Mario Kart, a little bit easier to grip on some other games, and they allow you to play with the motion controls a little bit more like you're actually physically holding a wheel. Many people preferred these on the Wii, and I can see why, even though they are a little bit tiny, they're tiny enough for smaller hands, but also just enough that they have just enough girth to them that, like, if you have monstrous hands and paws like I do, they aren't going to be too uncomfortable. But let's actually talk about the real problem here. You see this right here? This is the Nintendo strap that comes with it. These retail for about $8. You can get them in a variety of different colors: black, yellow, red, and blue. And people would have trouble because they would put them on backwards. They have a little locking mechanism up here, but you're actually supposed to line it up minus to minus or plus to plus and do that. And then you have to hold this and make sure this is not locked, and then just kind of do that. You hear that little noise it makes? It almost feels like you're breaking it. It's kind of ugh. Now, some people don't like the straps, and you can easily remove the straps and do this. I can lock it into place, unlock it easily, and just slide it off. Still not ideal. So what I actually propose people do is maybe it's time to ditch these completely and go with the brand new battery ones. These are a little bit pricier, but if you trade these in toward these, it'll cut the price down substantially to where it's actually a good idea. Now let's go ahead and talk about what makes these different. One, you get two in a package because they're not universal across the remotes. You have one for this side and one for that side. A couple other notes between these and the different ones. Let's go ahead and compare these straps. Move these around. Okay, we've got this. Okay, there you go. Line them up from where it ends, and you'll note that this one actually has a slightly longer strap. Also, the strap's in a different spot. If you've got this connected, if you have your, let's go ahead and grab that real quick. If you have a JoyCon connected to this, the strap is on this side part here. It's kind of a little awkward. If you have it connected to this, the strap is on the bottom part. Okay? Now let's actually look at how you put these on. There's a little thing here, a locking mechanism that slides right here. There's two AA batteries in here and a nice textured background to it. So it's actually more to hold. Also, look at this, look at this. The way this is designed, you go in and it locks into place. It locks in easier. You don't have to actually have to push that back. It slides in a lot easier. You could, of course, if you have a tri-wing screwdriver, edit this just a little and take out that strap, but you don't need to worry about it. In fact, if I don't have the strap on me, I just fold it over like this, and that works just fine. Overall, this is actually a better device for it, especially if you're holding it like this, because it gives you more to grip. In fact, it's closer in size and thickness to a Nintendo Wiimote or Wiimote Plus. Let me go ahead and pop that in there. See? Instead of having like pretty much just half or even like a third of the of how this is, you'll note, let's move these a bit. You'll note that instead of being just a third of the thickness of a Nintendo Wiimote, this is actually closer to the Nintendo Wiimote in terms of size, making it a little bit easier for people who are more familiar with the Nintendo Wiimote to adapt, making it just slightly, like instead of being really thin, which is good for a portable, it's actually nice and thick, which is actually good for an actual controller. And unlike these ones where you feel like you're breaking it every time you put it through, and you might actually be running down that rail, this snaps in nice and easily. So what I suggest people might want to look into is, well, instead of spending time editing these and removing the little strap yourself for that, I just want to pack these up and then trade them in toward getting one of these. Because this right here is the evolution of that strap. Now, if they made one that was a lot cheaper and didn't charge your Joy-Cons, that would be fantastic. Of course, with this on, it won't fit in here or in any of the other stuff, but you kind of don't need it to. And if you're wondering, that's what's happening over here. Someone wants to be in the video, don't ya? Really? No. You're just after the strap. Anyways. Yeah, someone's just after the strap. No, nope, nope, no. That's not yours. Anywho, these are absolutely worth it if you're trading in older Joy-Con straps for them. You're not going to miss these unless you have like them in a special color or whatnot. And these are pretty cheap if you buy them used, or pretty cheap if you buy them new. These are about $8 each, and places like GameStop give you pretty much about half that. So instead of spending like $16 on some colored one of these, you could go ahead and put that $16 toward one of these. Maybe put in some other store credit or whatnot, and just go for it. They won't ever really go down in price. I mean, you might be able to see some places where people will start clearancing these out, but I kind of feel that once people know about how good these are and what they do, they might be a little rough to find. But hey, that's just my suggestion on that. I actually suggest, if you're used to and remember the Nintendo Wii, this is going to bring back good memories of that, and when you flip it over on its side, it's going to feel a lot better in your hands. You know, messing with third-party things, just put these in, just one and done pretty much. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of these. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that share button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And make sure you ring that bell so that you are informed whenever we have brand new content here at Area DMG. Until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.